Hey friends, it's Timothy with Scrappy Boy Stamps, and today I'm going to show you how to put together the happy birthday pop-up envelope die. So obviously we're going to be using that today. I'm also going to be using one of the images, the pre-colored die cuts, Goth Girl, and the Goth Girl paper as well. So this is one that I made previously. So this is what we're going to make today. It will fold down flat, and you can stick it in an envelope and mail it to your recipient, but it also stands, which is really cool. When I first saw this die, I was a little bit intimidated because of all the pieces. I believe there's like 25 pieces in here, but after I put it together, it wasn't as intimidating as I thought. So I went ahead and did some homework ahead of time just so we can move along with the video. So with the outline pieces, so the main pieces to build the envelope, you're going to cut out this larger outline piece, this one with the tabs on the back, that rectangle, and then the one around the envelopes here. I also cut out the candles. This is the base of the candles. I cut that out in white. So all of my white is heavyweight cardstock, just so you know I like my stuff to be sturdy. So I went ahead and cut out, like I said, the larger envelope piece. We're just going to go ahead and score these on the lines. Grab my I was looking for my bone folder, but I can't find it. So if you have a bone folder, you can go ahead and score or use your bone folder to crease those, but I play with it a lot, so alright, so we're going to crease those. This piece you don't have to do anything to, and then you'll go ahead and fold on those score lines. So this piece is going to go in the middle of our pop-up piece. Okay, so there is that. So before we start building, I'm gonna put some of the pieces together, or glue some pieces into place. So for the piece that's going to go behind the cake, it's a piece like this. So it's like your envelope liner. So for me, I use the same cardstock or the paper for the front of the envelope and the liner, as well as the sides. Those are all from the same piece of paper. So we're going to go ahead and glue this to the back before we do anything. So of course you can choose whatever color paper you want. If you want it to be a solid, you could do that as well. This piece doesn't really get seen a ton, but I feel like it's good to have there in case your recipient gets a little curious about how you put this together. And plus I just like to have everything go together. All right, so that piece is good there. Let's go ahead and So I cut out the rectangle piece. That's gonna layer on this piece here. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. And because I'm using the goth girl, I wanted to make this kind of a dark theme. But like I said, you can use whatever you like. All right, so now we're gonna open this up. And we're just gonna glue one side first. So get some glue on there. And then you'll wanna line it up like this edge here. You'll want that in the middle of this panel here. So you want to make sure it's lined up at the top here and then in the middle as well. Okay, so once that's in place, you can wiggle it around if you need to make sure it's where you want it. Make sure that glue is dry. And as I'm doing this, I always play with my folds, making sure it bends correctly. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and, so I have it flat now. So you can have it open and then you can have it flat. So this is flat now. So I'm going to add my glue to this little tab here and then fold this part directly over. So this will also help you ensure that once your card is folded, it'll lie flat to be placed in an envelope. Okay, so play with it, make sure it lies flat going either way. Okay, so now we're gonna go, let's go ahead and do the sides. So I used, like I said, the spiderweb paper for the basic or the outside of the envelope as well as the liner. So we're going to go ahead and glue this piece down. I found it was easier to glue this piece first and then the outside pieces. So there is a little bit of a border. So you just want to make sure it's centered. You can kind of use this piece up here to help you figure out where you want it placed. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we will do the sides. And so it has a little curve at the top, and then the bottom has a point. So that's how you know which side to attach it to. And then you just kind of want to make sure that there's a nice border around your pieces. Okay, so the front of the envelope is good. Put that to the side, and then we'll add these two pieces to the side. So I feel like once you have all your pieces cut out, this goes together really quick. I think the fun part is choosing the design you want, the pattern paper, the color. I was gonna do a superhero card, but I was like, let me do something that might be inspirational for Halloween. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and glue this front piece. So you want to go just outside of the score line, I believe. Yes. Yeah, so you don't want to go directly on the fold. You want to go just to the right of it on this side. Make sure it's dry before you move on to the other side. Okay, and so we're going to lay it flat like we did the other tab. And make sure it's lined up with the bottom. And give it a little time to dry. Okay, and like I said, I always fold it both ways just to make sure it will lie flat. Okay, so there is our envelope. Now we will make our cake. So I grabbed some more paper that was in the Goth Girl paper pack. They were straight lines, but I wanted it to be like diagonal. So I just lined the dies up diagonal and ran it through and cut it out that way. So I cut out the top layer and the bottom layer of the cake. And then for the icing, I decided to bring in red because I love how it looks a little bit like blood. For our goth girl, she would appreciate it. Of course, you can use whatever color you like. So this is just some foil cardstock that I had in my stash just because I love different textures and shiny with matte. But I just feel like that was a good option for her cake for sure. So I would love to see what everyone makes. So many different options. I don't think anyone's done a wedding one, but that would be cool to do a wedding pop-up. Think outside the box. Okay, So there is our cake. Let's go ahead and glue this down. So we're just gonna add a little bit of glue at the bottom. And then glue that right behind the larger piece. And just try to make sure that it's centered. All right, let's get some candles. So like I said, I did the base of the candles with the heavyweight white cardstock, and then I cut out the layers for the candle. It's actually pattern paper in the same paper pack, but I just used the black parts of it. I think it was the piranhas, and so I just went in between the piranhas just so I can have all black, well, an all black layer for the candles. Sometimes if like this area is so small, if I try to use an image in this black, I feel like it would kind of get lost just because it's so small. And so I feel like those look like black candles with white stripes. That's what I was going for. So on my other card I used, and I always get inspiration from whatever paper I'm using. And so for the other card, for the flames, I just used the same paper that was in the, that I used for the rest of the card. And so I used yellow for the flames. I thought about using yellow for this cake, and I thought about using orange, but since I used red for the icing, I decided to go with red for the flames. But that's the cool thing about fire, you can use whatever color goes best with your project. Or if you want to cut out your flames in white and then use markers, you can color red, orange, and yellow. My favorite colors to create your flames that way. And I'm sure that will look really cool. Okay. So for my flames, I used glitter cardstock just because it shines and I think it looks cool with this card. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue, and then our fire or flame, same thing I guess. And I love how this die comes with 3 of each of these pieces, so you don't have to run this through 3 different times. You can line everything up and just run it through one time, and you'll have all 3 of the candles, the bases of the candles, and the flame. What else is in there? Yeah, so you can run all 3 of them through at one time, so you can save some time. All right, let's get this last one. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get these candles attached. So I usually do my one in the middle first, and then a little more glue. Do my candle in the middle first, and then line up the outer 2. And I feel like that gives me better luck getting them all how I want them. If you have grid paper or something with lines, well, I guess I could have used that. So yeah, we'll see. It's almost a 1/4 of an inch away from each other. Or you could just eyeball it. Okay, so there's our cake and our candles. So let's go ahead and do our greeting. So this die set comes with happy birthday. So here's the outline that I cut out in black, just black cardstock, and then I use the same what is it called? This cardstock. Why can't I think of the name of it? And I just said it earlier, but you know what it is. This stuff right here. So that is staying on because I used some washi tape to hold the little eye. So I can show you how I line that up. All right, so let's get some glue on here. Everything is attached except the, and I forget what it's called, the little dot on the eye. It's crazy. If I wasn't making the video, I'm sure I would remember a lot more terminology and products and all that. Okay. So this lines up pretty easy. The nice border. And I love how that red pops with the black. All right, so for our little, I forget what it's called. I think it starts with a T. It's a funny name too. Okay, so whenever I'm trying to line up a little dot over the eye, I use the negative space, place that, and then where is my needle? So I use my needle from my glue to help me. So I put the glue behind, then I pick it up with my needle, and then place it. So before it dries too much, make sure you get that negative piece out of there so you don't glue it to the, sometimes I'll hold it down with my needle just so it doesn't go anywhere. And I feel like that's how you get pretty good placement if it's not attached to the rest of your sentiment. So that's just a little trick there. All right, so now we're gonna glue this to this inside piece. So just at the bottom, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And then you'll center that there. So you can also put this down here if you wanted. You can put it lower if you want. You could put it on the cake. But I just think it looks cool right there. Let's grab some foam. All right, so we're gonna add our cake now. So when you add your cake, you wanna go ahead and see where you want it. Make sure it's low enough so it's hiding behind this piece here. Let's see. All right, so I'm just gonna add one. I love these dimensionals. I use a lot of them. I love popping everything up. So you want to stay away from the edges up there because that will show through the back. All right. So slide this down. Make sure it's centered. And another little trick, if you are using like foam adhesive and you need a little bit of wiggle room, just put a little bit of glue on the back of the foam, and that will allow you to move it around a little bit before you place your paper permanently. Okay, so now we can glue our little girl down, little goth girl, and just make sure you don't put any glue too high on her head because her head's not going to be attached. There, so we'll just add her there. Move over just a little bit. Okay. So there she is. So on this one, I feel like if you are going to write a message, if you want to, you don't have to. If you want to just leave it like this, you can. But I feel like this liner is perfect for writing a message on the back. So because this has so many layers and it's bumpy, it might be kind of hard to write on it while it's while this is glued down. So I would write your message on here and then glue it down. So I did use pink for this one just because it matched. This one I would have used black and then maybe wrote in like a white gel pen or something, but I just chose like a dark gray, something that you can use regular pen, blue or black ink or whatever, and it'll still show up on here. So for sake of the video, we're just going to go ahead and glue this down so you can see what it looks like on the back. And still just making sure it lies flat. If you want to get really creative, you can do candles. You can do the same thing on the front that you did, or on the back that you did in the front. But I think that looks fine because it's just white. But there we go. So that's the card that we made today using the happy birthday pop-up envelope. And that was the first one I created. So I hope it's not as intimidating as it seemed at the beginning. Like I said, I think it's 25 pieces that come with it. There's just the back. But I hope you enjoyed seeing how we put together this little pop-up card. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.